before thee, and thou shalt fear day and night, and shall have none assurance of thy life. Now I'm gonna read this again. This is the consequences. Now I know some call it the curses, and I'm going to give you more details on that. The curses is actually listed in chapter 27. And then when you get to chapter 28, those first 15 verses is what is called the blessing. These are the consequences. All right. So just so that we on the same page, and I'm going to do a full teaching on this to really go into more of a deeper discovery on this. So look at what it says here. And thy life shall hang in doubt before thee, and thou shalt fear day and night, and shall have none assurance of thy life. Show me any group of people from Northeast Africa, because Israel, the original Israel, is in Northeast Africa, is nowhere else, is in Northeast Africa. Show me what group of people had to go through and line up with this right here. Not even the 1948ers, even though they had their Holocaust, so to speak, they had their challenges, but with the Holocaust, if you really study the Holocaust, and the whole reason for the Balfour Declaration, right, is to have those people go to Israel. Those are the people that did not want to go to Israel. They wanted to stay where they was. It's a lot more to that. So when you see the concentration camps, those are the ones that did not want to leave. They want to stay in Germany. They want to stay where they were rather. They also had a place in Russia called, I believe, Birkenau. That was the original place, Jewish state that Russia set aside for them to come back to. Notice what I'm saying. Come back to. Two difference. There's a difference of coming back to those territories of Russia, the Jewish state of Birkenau, which is a Russia community for them that was created by them, right? Versus Israel. Two different. I didn't say come back, return to. But anyway, my point that I'm making is that when you understand that, regardless of how you look at it, there was a plan. What about the original people? What about the original people from Northeast Africa, which are true Israelites that are from, and I want to say this to some of our brothers and sisters, Northeast Africa, the original Israel, sits on the tectonic plate in Africa, period. They even have a sign there, and I can play the audio here from elders there that are actually reading from the sign, showing that Jerusalem, that Israel sits on the tectonic plate of Africa. So it says here, and thy life shall hang in doubt before thee, and thou shalt fear day and night, and thou shalt have none assurance of thy life. In the morning thou shalt say, Maya, in other words, would that it were even, and at even thou shalt say, Maya, would that it were morning. Now your translation to have God there, but that's not a proper translation there, because it doesn't have Allahayim there. It doesn't have Allah there. It has Maya in the Israeli me, right? It doesn't have that there. So what you see here, I just put would that. That's more of an accurate transliteration of the text. All right. Berean Scholar, I thought I heard you coming in. Are you muted out? Oh, there you go.
I was on mute. I was listening right in the same time. Keep going. Keep going.
Okay. I clear my throat here. So, family, this is telling you the consequences. Thy life shall hang in doubt before thee. I can give you countless situations as a people, as a collective, that how we had our life was in doubt, starting with this past celebration of Watch Night, New Year's Eve, that I know most of you guys don't even want to acknowledge because the delusion or deception of believing that it's a pagan, that you're celebrating paganism if you honor Watch Night according to our ancestors. That's completely incorrect. The true New Year's was in March. The original New Year's was in March. It wasn't in January. It wasn't January 1st. That's one fact that I want to make sure you guys understand. But when we start understanding the truth about, and I'm not getting into all the calendar stuff, but we have to make sure that we're not falling under the devices to erase our own history. When you start ignoring, for example, what occurred on the true Watch Night, what really happened, when you start like, I'm not even going to acknowledge that, you are participating in the erasure of your history. And I refuse to do that. And I've been, from a young minister being in Kojic, they will tell you, I made sure that we honored and we remembered our ancestors on December 31st. It's documented. So let me go ahead and continue here. I know that I say a mouthful, but let me continue here. So what is Watch Night? Let me break this down, and I'm gonna get to you a key point. And Berean Scholar, feel free to jump in. What is Watch Night? Let me break down Watch Night real quick. Right? Let me break it down. This is the Huffington Post article about what they documented what Watch Night is. It says Watch Night service in the Black church in America symbolizes the historical fact that on the night of December 31st, 1862, make a note of 1862, during the Civil War, free and freed Blacks living in the Union states gathered at churches and or other safe spaces while thousands of their enslaved Black sisters and brothers stood, knelt and prayed on plantations and other slave holding sites in America, waiting for President Abraham Lincoln to sign the Emancipation Proclamation into law. Come on, family. Setting up Abraham Lincoln as if he was a messiah to our community. Like our people were waiting on December 31st, waiting for him to pass this declaration so we can be free. And I'm here to tell you that is the furthest thing from the truth. So let's look at the Encyclopedia of Britannica. Let's see what it says about its entry about the Watch Night. Look at here, Watch Night, also called Freedom's Eve. Freedom's Eve, Christian religious service held on New Year's Eve and associated in many African American churches with a celebration and remembrance of the Emancipation Proclamation, enacted January 1st, 1863, which freed slaves in the Confederate States during the American Civil War. All right. Let's fast forward. So was our ancestors, was the Negro slaves truly waiting for President Lincoln to sign the Emancipation Proclamation, waiting for him to be a type of Messiah for us? I'm here to tell you, like I said in our assembly, going LL back in the day, that's a lie. That's a complete lie. That's a complete lie. Now, this is where it gets dicey. This is where it gets dicey. Well, what are you saying, Pastor? Why does it get dicey? Well, let me read to you what the original article, notice what I said, original, and that's a screenshot of the original. Let me read to you what the original article said. This is just a quote from it, right? On September 22nd, soon after the Union victory in Antietam, excuse me, however you pronounce it, he issued a preliminary Emancipation Proclamation declaring that as of January 1st, 1863, all slaves in the rebellious state shall be thenceforward and forever free, while the Emancipation Proclamation did not free a single slave. What does it say again? The Emancipation Proclamation did not free a single slave. But something happened here. Something happened here. Now, before I show you what happened here, why am I doing this this live and sounding the alarm? Let me show you, because we're going to break down what the slaves actually said. Our ancestors actually said about the truth about watch night. And it's going to prove that none of them were waiting for a Abraham Lincoln to be their savior. Right? I was going to say a joke here, but I'm going to keep it simple. I'm not going to even get there. Y'all know I can quote movies, and that may not be, some of you guys may not take that well. I was thinking about something. I was like, all I can say, I was going to do a reference from Cadillac Records, the movie. Right? I'm just going to leave it at that, right? So, but we were not waiting in anticipation, like the artists in that movie waiting for this record company exec or owner who hustled them, right, to be a former messiah to them. So the Emancipation Proclamation did not free a single slave. So real quick, I'm going to give you President Lincoln's true position on slavery, how he viewed our people, and then I'll show you why am I doing this live, the hacks that are out there. Look at here. This is coming from history.com. Slavery was an unqualified evil. This is his thoughts, right? Abraham Lincoln's thoughts. Slavery was an unqualified evil to the Negro, the white man, and the state, said Abraham Lincoln in 1850s. Yet in his first inaugural address, Lincoln declared that he had no purpose, directly or indirectly, to interfere with slavery in the states where it exists. So that knocks down Juneteenth, right?
Yep.
All right. He reiterated this pledge in his first message to Congress on July 4th, 1861. When the Civil War was 3 months old. What explains this apparent inconsistency in Lincoln's statement? Because they're exposing his inconsistency, right? Doesn't that sound familiar? We always as a community have had to deal with the inconsistencies. We hear one thing, but we see the behavior is totally the opposite. We hear you say that, hey, I love black people, and in the same in the actions lining up to what you say, you're persecuting us. You're trying to now tell me that the very people that have oppressed our community for at least 400 years in this country are now the victims. What was President Lincoln's true thoughts about the Negroes? And family, you can confirm this. This is coming from Lincoln's speech, Charleston, Illinois, September 18th, 1858. Right? We supposed to have been freed around that time, right? This is the Declaration, right? The proclamation of the Emancipation Proclamation, right? I will say then that I am not, nor ever have been in favor of bringing about any way the social and political equality of the white and black races. This is why it burned me up when I saw President Obama swearing in, taking his oath with Abraham Lincoln's Bible. Oh yeah, y'all grab hold of that. I will say then that I am not, nor ever have been in favor of bringing about in any way the social and political equality of the white and black races. That I am not, nor ever have been in favor of making voters. So he was against any of us being able to vote, or jurors of Negroes. In other words, interacting in any of this of the judicial system whatsoever, nor of qualifying them hold office. Yeah, couldn't be elected to anything, nor to intermarry, with white people. And I will say, in addition to this, that there is a physical difference between the white and black races. Now we get into what? The stereotypes based upon the institution of race, which was created by a German guy by the name of Johann Blumenbach, right? Which I believe will forbid the two races living together on terms of social and political equality. And in as much as they cannot so live, while they do remain together, there must be the position of superior and inferior. In other words, look what he's saying. There must be what? A line drawn between who's superior and who's inferior. And look at how he defines it here. And I, as much as any of her man, am in favor of having the superior position assigned to who? The white race. That's what he said. These are his own words. But I'm going to show you here. I'm just going to share my screen, and then we'll close out with giving you words from our ancestors. Let you hear what they say about watch night, how they defined watch night. And I'm going to show you and prove to you not one of them mentioned Abraham Lincoln. Not one of them, in their own words, their own narratives, their own testament. All right. Any comments, Berean Scholar?
And we're not going to forget about how that what got us on this subject in the first place. While you were doing your research about the stuff in Watch Night, how we came across what we wanted to talk about.
Exactly. And I'm going to show you guys here. I'm going to share my screen here. I'm going to pull it up here so that way you guys can really understand why the live here, why the unscheduled live. Let me see here. Where's my
things are happening? People are doing things right under our nose right now, and we need to bring attention to it.
All right. So I'm going to drag this over to my monitor here. All right, let's see here. All right. And let me close this out. All right. So let me bring up this browser here. Okay. Let me share this browser, and I'll drop a link. I got the PDF of his original speech here, but I'll drop it inside the chat as well. So that way, a link that you can confirm what I just read as well. So let me go ahead and do this. Let me remove this. All right, I'm going to share this screen here. All right, let's see here. Can you see my screen, Berean Scholar?
Yeah, it just came up. It's a little small though.
All right, I'm gonna zoom it in. Family, I'm gonna drop this link here of what I just read in terms of a key entry of his speech, President Lincoln, and what he said about what I just read of what he said about our people. So I'm gonna zoom it in so you guys can see it. It's already highlighted here.
And as you're doing that, Pastor, that's something we need to take notice of, guys. What we heard in history, what we learned and taught in school in history, we know it's not true because they glorify, they make it look Hollywood what they want us to believe. But this is documented, written down facts, what was said.
And as you can see here, this is National Historic Site, Illinois, 4th debate, Charleston, Illinois, September 18th, 1858. All right. And this is right here, Mr. Lincoln's speech. And as you see here, I'm trying to zoom it more, but it's not like, how normally Most sites they
That looks
already have
good. It looks
have it
good.
set to where it'll reposition the text, will realign itself, but it's not doing it with this here. Let me try one more time just to make sure. All right, yeah, it is doing that. Initially, it wasn't doing that. Let me do it one more time, and I'm going to zoom down. All right, can you guys see that?
See it great now. That's good.
All right, and this is documented. I dropped the link inside the chat for you guys. If I need to drop it again, I will drop it again. It says, "I will say then that I am not, nor ever have been, in favor of bringing about in any way the social and political equality of the white and black races." And it said he got applauses here, right? That I am not, nor ever have been, in favor of making voters or jurors of Negroes, nor of qualifying them to hold office, nor to intermarry with white people. And I will say, in addition to this, that there is a physical difference between the white and black races, which I believe will forever forbid the two races living together on terms of social and political equality. And in as much as they cannot so live, while they do remain together, there must be the position of superior and inferior. And I, as much as any other man, am in favor of having the superior position assigned to the white race.
Hmm.
So I want to make sure you guys understand this is his true views. This is what you're not going to be taught in school. But why am I bringing this up? Why am I bringing this up? I decided to go to the Wayback Machine because I want to do a screenshot, an additional screenshot for the presentation, right? And so for those that you guys that may not be familiar with the Wayback Machine is a snapshot of pretty much all the websites that you see on the internet. That even if they make revisions or updates, you could go back to almost the original page and see exactly what was stated on there. So initially I went to what's currently out there. I went to history.com. I'll copy my link into the browser. And so I saw this here. Can you guys see this? Is this showing on your screen, Berean Scholar?
Yes, it is. You can enlarge a little bit.
All right.
Yeah,
so I'm going to zoom
yeah,
it down.
That's good.
So that way you guys can see what really caught me by surprise. Well, I'm not really surprised, but this is what really raised some questions here, because family, they not only revised this, they rewrote it. Look at what it says here, right? On September 22nd, 1862, President Abraham Lincoln issued the preliminary Emancipation Proclamation, which declared that as of January 1st, 1863, all enslaved people in the states currently engaged in rebellion against the Union shall be thenceforward and forever free. And look at how it changed the wording here. Lincoln didn't actually free all of the approximately 4 men. Doesn't that read a lot different? See, they're lightening up, trying to make this more lighter. They're trying to water down how he really felt about our people. That right there, just this right here, Lincoln didn't actually free all of the approximately 400 men and women. Sounds a lot different than what I read from the actual article, of the original clip, when it said, I'm just going to the quote, when it said, it said,
did not.
While the Emancipation Proclamation did not free a single slave, it made it clear it did not free a single slave. But here it says Lincoln didn't actually free all of the approximately 4 million men, women, and
Pastor,
children.
Can I interject something?
Go ahead.
Because after we got through talking, I was talking to my wife about the same situation, and I told her about the Wayback Machine. She asked, "What is the Wayback Machine?" I'm gonna repeat what you said. the Wayback Machine. I say I put it like her. I put this for her to understand it. I had a website in 2010 for my nonprofit I did with outreach in the community I was doing. That website was up for 5 years. It's not up now, but I can go to the Wayback Machine and find everything I had on that website, all the information. Because you can find anything on the Wayback Machine. Like Pastor said, anything's on the line, it's in the Wayback Machine. What they're doing now, they're going in and changing some things.
Okay. Let the counter back up. Now set it up. I'll set it up.
I'm sorry. But like I said, my website right now, if I gave you the URL, you can go back on the Wayback Machine and find it and see what ministries I did, where we served, some of the testimonies of people we did. You can find that website. It's not as this that had been down for the last 15 years, but you still can find it now on the Wayback Machine. I'll stop there.
I mind. He was flowing. See, you got to do that with pastors, get into a flow. I thought he was going to say, won't he do it? I thought he was going to go there. And so you guys probably already figured it out, but I'm going to share with you something that I wasn't expecting to see. So this article, let me pull my mouse up, right? This article, as you see here, it says, where is it? Published October 29th, 2009. Last updated February 27th, 2025. Do you guys see that right here?
Note that date.
All right. So I want you guys to pay attention to that. So I'm going to zoom in. All right. You guys see that, right? Published October 29th, 2009. Last updated. Right? It says it was updated. No, it was a revision. But it says last updated February 27th, 2025. So what I decided to do, I said, let me go to the Wayback Machine, right? Let me copy that link. And you know what? I'm going to do it while you guys are here. I might as well just do it while you guys are here.
There you go.
Right? So I typed it in. So let's just go to the main Wayback page, and I'll show you guys how you can utilize this tool. I decided to do a search on, what I do? Did I mess it up? Let's go back here.
Yeah.
I think I messed it up. All right, here it is. All right, let's go here. All right. Now, this article was published. Let's go back here so you guys can see. 2009, October 29th, 2009. Now, when we go to the Wayback Machine, let's zoom in. Where's my mouse here? Sometimes my mouse disappears. All right, let's zoom in.
Okay.
All right, can you guys see that? Is that better? Do I need to zoom in more?
Oh, that's good. That's good. We can see.
All right, so what you see here, it tells us that there's no snapshots prior. Only in 2025, the earliest is March. So they removed all the snapshots from 2009 forward. And when I say they, it starts with this administration dealing with DEI, the so-called DEI directive. So the history.com removed this. Now, some will say, well, you know what? Maybe that was just something that they were doing. Maybe it was just a routine that they were just, they was doing that with all their channels.
Now,
right?
Before you move it, I want to say, make sure they get this right. Because before you go back to the last page.
Oops.
What Pastor said, 2025 and what 2009. A snapshot is created by people populating that website.
So again,
Going to it.
you don't see anything existing now
No
before
traffic.
2025. An exact date, the first snapshot was on the 21st of March 2025 at 2100 hours, right? The minute one past the hour at 0.05 seconds.
They down
Right?
to the
So
minute.
they got it all the way down to 9 o'clock. So 9:01. And then the seconds, 5 seconds, 0.05 seconds. So that's gone. That's not there. Well, let me copy another link because I did a lesson on Valentine's Day years ago, right? The first time I did the lesson was, about 10 years ago. But let me copy a link from the presentation that I did on that. That's from the History Channel, right? So that way we can confirm whether or not if this is something that's just a uniform, something that happened, across the board with all their pages. I mean, their articles and all. Let's see if this reflects the same in other other articles in the Wayback Machine. So let me find this real quick. I thought I had it available, but let me pull it up real quick.
And while you pull it up, Pastor, I'm just going to reiterate for the people in the chat. I see a lot of people in the chat. Please hit the like and share button and make sure everybody's seeing this. And what Pastor is doing now is equipping you to do your own studies, your own research. And this is some of the tools that he used to do all his research. These tools are there for us to find out the information they don't want to find out. So I'm not going to say anything else. I won't let the cat back, but this is how you do true research.
So now, family, I'm going to copy in. This is a link from an article that I made reference to from history.com on Valentine's Day, right? And you notice it comes up, Valentine's Day. It says published December 22nd, 2009. So this is in the same vicinity.
Yep.
Right? This is October 29th, 2009. So this Valentine's Day article was done on, a month, 2 months later. But it says
Same
last
site.
updated September 3rd, 2025. So this is just updated about 3 months ago. So let's go back to the Wayback Machine. I'm just going to type it in, open up another session of the Wayback Machine.
Perfect example, Pastor. Perfect example.
So we're just going to go back to the Wayback Machine. And now we're going to copy that same URL, right? The URL that I made reference to in my presentation on Valentine's Day. And let's see what we get here.
Wow.
Even though it doesn't go all the way back to 2009, but we have what?
A lot of traffic. A lot of traffic.
So if we go back to 2018, now before I show you the original screenshot, right? I'm going to reshare my screen here again. Right? I just want you guys to see this here. Let me share the screen again, and then we'll go back to where we are. But I want you guys to see that you can see the original screenshot in my presentation. Let me share this again. All right, let me stop this share here. All right, let's go here. Now I'm just going to show you guys here. Can you guys see it?
Yeah, it's coming up. Now we can see it now.
All right. So you guys, you actually see the actual presentation, right? Without in presentation view. This is the original slide here, right? PowerPoint slide. Look at the link. That's the link. Look at how I'll just delete this here real quick. look at the overall visual. This is this basically how the original page looked. So we're going to go to the original, the very first screenshot, which now I'm going to talk. Let me go back over to the other page. I just want to share this to you guys so you guys can see that, hey, you know, I'm not doing anything that's shiesty or whatever the case may be. I'm just showing you exactly what's there. This is the original screenshot that I took when I put this presentation together. So let me go ahead and put the other back up on the screen. All right, let me bring the other window back up.
I understand that when you put that presentation together, it was before 5 years ago, something like that.
Exactly. I did it well before 5 years ago, and just so happened they started doing the screenshots as we see 8 years ago. But they still captured what I'm getting ready to share with you guys. They still captured it. So let's bring this back up. Let me make sure this is the right one. Yeah. All right. Can you guys see the screen again?
Gotcha.
All right. So you guys got the visual. So let's go to the Wayback Machine. We're back here, 2018. Let's go back into time. I thought Berean Scholar was going to do his voice here. What we're going to do is go
way back.
But anyway, let's go here. October 18th, 2018. Wow. It looks like my screenshot, right? Even though it's not showing the image here, and that's one of the issues sometimes with the Wayback Machine. They may not share, have captured the images because the images do take up space.
I think that was a video.
Oh, it may be a video. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a video. So that's why.
Either way, you see how this is the original layout.
Yep.
So if we go to the updated, it looks like this. All right. So we got a problem here. What I just proved that we eliminated any potential comments of, well, you know what, the Wayback Machine, I mean, not Wayback, well, you know, the history.com, you know, right across the board, they were updating their system. So all the sites got affected by this. We just eliminated that excuse because we have two articles that was written maybe 2 months apart. One got snapshots associated with it, even though it's not going all the way back to 2009, but we have at least 8 years, an 8-year history. But the other one, we don't have not a single snapshot. All the snapshots, well, prior to 2025, and more specifically, March 2025. A couple of weeks after they completely revised this. It's not an update, revised this article to make it or give a tone of Abraham, a more softer tone of Abraham Lincoln.
And we're dealing with the same website. Two different articles. Same website. Two different issues. Two different topics.
So, family, that's what I really want to bring to you guys' attention, right? When I say they, right, this government being led by this commander in thief, who's connected to the 1948ers, who's connected to the Roman Catholic Church, because they're not just connected to the 1948ers, they're connected to all the Abrahamic religions. Look at what's happening with Qatar. Qatar is not a 1948er state. Qatar is not a Christian state. But look at the things that he's doing for them. And look at how they are. Anyway, not getting into all of that. But I want to show you guys, family, that this is real. While so many of our brothers and sisters that are in these other spaces so busy trying to expose one another, they're not exposing the bigger issue. And believe it or not, family, there are celebrities or that's in other genres that pay attention to what we're doing, that are subscribed to this channel. Not going to mention any names, but but there are some that are in certain spaces that's constantly just, it's all about exposing what we're doing as a people, each other, exposing what this entertainer is doing to this entertainer. Guys, all of this while they're erasing and changing history around us.
Exactly.
The archive.gov, you used to be able to download PDFs there for free. Now they're not even giving you the option to download the PDFs, but you could just borrow it from their channel on pertinent information.
And what's the difference, Pastor?
Repeat that again. I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
And I say, and ladies and gentlemen, what is the difference between what used to be and what's happening now? Like Pastor said, you used to be able to download those archive.com. And when I came into this awakening, I was told that I'm the type of person, I need to have sources. You need to find me a source that's verifiable that I can read and say, okay, what he said is true. And you will point to sources. I will go find those sources. But then I would say, well, I can't download it now. So we have more people who are being aware and are doing the same thing that I was doing. And they found out, man, a lot of people populating these sites. They're finding information about who they are. These people are finding out their heritage. They're finding out their connection. We got to do something about that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. As long as we weren't touching these sources, unlimited access to it.
Amen.
Now everyone is putting a bounty on this stuff. And those that are offering you to be able to review it for free, you can't even download it. This is free information. Stuff that is free PDFs. Now, archive.org is now hijacking it. So let me show you real quick. I said I was going to do this, family. Let you hear the words of our own ancestors about what Watch Night really, what it really was, according to our people, not according to the people that have enslaved us. So let me share this with you here, because I said that I was going to share this. Let me fast forward here. Matter of fact, I'll do it this way. Let me show you exactly what our ancestors said about Watch Night. So New Year's Day was not a time of celebration for the Negroes. New Year's Eve was not a celebration for our ancestors. Let's start with the testimony of slave Silas Jackson. Now, this is coming from the memoirs from the Slave Narrative Collection. When I was a slave, memoirs from the Slave Narrative Collection. Now, this individual here, this slave right here, is Silas Jackson. He's 90 years old at this time, and Roger Age is the one that interviewed him. So this is, as you can see here, this is giving more information here, either in the year 1846 or 47. But nevertheless, let's see what he says about the New Year's. On Christmas Day, Mr. Ashby would call all the slaves together, give them presents, money, after which they spent the day as they liked. Right now, this is a plantation that is supposed to be one of the good plantations, because you had different plantations. The worst plantation no one wanted to go to was the sugar plantations. Now, this tells you the psychology of our people, of how suppressed and depressed we were, because that's almost like arguing about good poison and bad poison. Right? If Berean Scholar said that I used to store poison in a jar, but hey, you know what? I cleaned it out, because you asked me for a glass of water. Hey, I cleaned it out. I mean, I got it cleaned. I put it through the dishwasher. I got it cleaned. I cleaned it out. Now I'm going to hook you up with your favorite drink with ice and everything. And I go to hand that to you
And then put a lemon in it.
and put a lemon in it on the edge. Are you going to drink from it? You won't drink from it, right? I would just make it audible for the people to hear, because they may think that you're saying, yeah, you like you thinking about it.
Come on now, you're not gonna drink from that.
Exactly. I just want to make sure, because I
you
actually
probably
would
slap it.
drink
You're gonna slap it out your hand.
Exactly. So, but this gives you an understanding of how depressed we were based upon Deuteronomy 28, how depressed we had become as a people, to now we are now ranking which slave owner, which plantation are the better plantations to go to while being slaves.
Yeah.
So here it says on New Year's Day. So I want to make it clear, this particular slave owner, right? He gave gifts to his slaves, gave them time off. But look at what this slave still expressed. On New Year's Day, we all were scared. That was the time for selling, buying, and trading slaves. We did not know who was to go or come. All right, so let me give you another example. This is coming from Jacob Harriet, and you didn't see any reference to Abraham Lincoln. Let me make sure I reiterate that point. This is coming from Harriet Ann Jacobs, Incidents in the Life of a Slave Girl, written by herself, page 11. Look at what it says here. Hiring day at the South takes place on January 1st. So they call January 1st hiring day. That was the day that the slaves would be sold, or even some property plantation owners would lease their slaves. But then January 2nd was moving day, where they had to show up. Okay, so it says here, hiring day at the South takes place on the 1st of January. On the 2nd, the slaves are expected to go to their new masters on a farm they worked until the corn and cotton are laid. They then have 2 holidays. Some masters give them a good dinner under the trees. This over, they worked until Christmas Eve. If no heavy charges are meantime brought against them, they are given 4 or 5 holidays, whichever the master or overseer may think proper. Then comes New Year's Eve. When comes what day? It says, then comes New Year's Eve. And they gather together they little alls, and more properly speaking, their little nothings, and wait anxiously for the dawning of day. Do you see anything about Abraham Lincoln? At the appointed hour, the grounds are thronged with men, women, children, waiting like criminals to hear their doomed pronounced. The slave is sure to know who is the most humane or cruel master within 40 miles of him. It is easy to find out on that day who clothed and feed his slaves well, for he is surrounded by a crowd begging, please, master. This right here, man, had me tearing up, man, reading this. Our ancestors begging what they deemed to be good slave owners. Please, master, hire me this year. I will work very hard, master. And for those that may not understand, massa is a Hebrew word. This is not broken English of master. And let's see what massa means in the Hebrew. A burden, an utterance, chiefly a doom. You think this was coincidence that these Israelites, or should I say these Negro slaves, were using massa to as a title for their slave owners? The slave owners, rather. They were speaking Hebrew, family. You're talking about Israelites, Hebrew Israelites, that where you get the term Black Jew comes from the Spanish Inquisition.
Come on.
They were the ones that were sent into slavery, scattered, sent to Sao Tome and other places, other Portuguese territories all through the continent of Africa. That's who we're referring to. That's who these 1948ers, that's who these so-called Sephardists, they won't tell you about that history. They'll talk about how the history that they created. They won't talk about the true people that was oppressed, the true people that was enslaved, the true people that were tortured, the true people that were scattered. All right, but let's get back here. Last Testament, Deuteronomy 28:32. This prophet, this consequence: thy sons and thy daughters shall be given unto another people, and thine eyes shall look and fail with longing for them all the day long, and there shall be no might in thine hand. Okay, let's go back here to this reference, family. I'm telling you, and I'm not just saying this as a cliche, because we know that there was a cliche. Knowledge is power. Knowledge is power, and they know this. The slave owners knew this. The more that we start understanding even the word, the Bible itself, they knew that it was so powerful that they had to scale it back. They had to remove passages out of it that they thought would liberate us, and for us to see that, wait a minute, this is us. And even through what was remaining, the remaining passages, our ancestors were still able to see the liberation. Come on, family. But let's go here. All right. Let's go back here. This right here sums it up. The slave mother, New Year's Day, comes laden with peculiar sorrows. She sits on her cold cabin floor, watching the children who may all be torn from her the next morning. Right? We're dealing with December 31st. Now she's having anxieties over what's going to happen on New Year's Day and January 2nd, which is moving day. Look at what it says here. And often does she wish that she and they might die before the day's dawn. She may be an ignorant creature, degraded by the system that has brutalized her from childhood, but she has a mother's instinct and is capable of feeling a mother's agony. And I'm not sure if you guys saw the movie Beloved by Oprah Winfrey, right? Beloved, it was with what's his name? Danny Glover played her love interest in it. And if you go back and watch that movie, right, she did something. I hate to let the cat out the bag, but spoiler alert for those that didn't watch, you may want to cover your ears for this part. But make a long story short, she, in an attempt to keep her children from being enslaved, she attempted to murder them. Because she knew as soon as she gave birth, she had just given birth to her youngest daughter, and 2 or 3 weeks later, I forgot what they called him, but he came along with others to take her baby away from her. And before she can, before she will allow them to do that, she had purposed in her mind that she would rather take their lives before allowing them to be enslaved to the system.
To go through what they had to go through.
And that's when I read this, makes me think about that. So look at what it says here. On one of these sale days, I saw a mother lead 7 children to the auction block. She knew that some of them would be taken away from her. But they took all. Look at here again. She knew that some of them would be taken from her, but they took all. The children were sold to a slave trader and their mother. Now, when you say to a slave trader, this is a merchant who dominated the merchants, the 1948ers. So when it says she was sold to a slave trader, it's a plantation owner, a owner of slaves decided to sell her children, or let me go back here, right? The children were sold to a slave trader. In other words, they sold it to a merchant. The merchants are the ones that will own them and own the auction blocks. And then they would, in return, sell them again and make whatever additional monies. So they sold it to a merchant, and their mother was bought by a man in her own town. Before night, her children were all far away. She begged the trader. She begged the merchant. She begged this auction house. She begged begged the trader to tell her where he intended to take them. This he refused to do. How could he? When he knew he would sell them one by one wherever he could command the highest price. So already made up in his mind that he was going to what? Sell them. Didn't even want to tell her where he was going to sell them to. So this is a merchant. I already said who dominated the merchants. See, I don't want to just say dominated the slave trade. That's generic. That's not, that's not putting an exact on it. They dominated the merchants. The merchants are the ones that ran the slave trade. Because the people, the plantations owners, went to where? The auctions.
Exactly.
The auctions were owned by who? The merchants. The merchants owned the slaves. Anyway.
Can I interject something, Pastor?
All right. And this will be the last one right here. But go ahead.
Because what you just said, they own that, the trade, they own the auction. And guys, this was a capitalist system. Most people had to borrow money to buy them. And guess who owned the banks?
Exactly. And guess what they were using? Collateral, slaves as collateral.
And that's why we come to the watch night. And
add to it, the universities. Yes, the universities owned slaves. Georgetown, all of them owned slaves. That's how they built up their universities. But yet we have to pay. Look it up, family. Georgetown called themselves giving reparations to the slave owners. I mean, the slaves that they owned, the ancestors of the slaves that they owned, and really didn't tell the truth about that. Kept it very, very minimal. Very minimal. So this is a last testament I'm going to share with you guys. And Berean Scott, I see something here that you want to share. I'll let you share it here before we wrap up. But I want you to pay attention here, right? This is another slave here that is giving a testament of the slave auctions, or should I say what would happen on January 1st or December 31st through January 2nd. So this is what it says. If a slave man and woman wish to marry, a party would be arranged some Saturday night among the slaves. The marriage ceremony consisted of the pair jumping over a stick. If no children were within a year or so, the wife was sold. At New Year's, if there was any debt or mortgage on the plantation, the extra slaves were taken to Clayton and sold at the courthouse. And this way, families were separated. So you don't see anything about Abraham Lincoln. I'm allowing the slaves to confirm what I shared with you guys about what true watch night was for our community. This was many had anxiety attacks over this, and many what they would do, they would use December 31st to say their goodbyes to their loved ones because there was no guarantee after January 1st that they would be together. So that's why in our ministry, even before we started our ministry, I'm not going to say I've always, but once I really got an understanding of Watch Night and really understanding our history, you know, I changed my stance on that. I changed my position on that. I actually started when I became a young minister in Kojic, is documented when I brought it to the attention of our pastor at the over there and explained to him exactly what it was, and it changed his perspective of Watch Night.
Oh man.
Aman. So let me share this to you on what you have on the screen here, Berean.
Well, just what
Scholar.
you're saying, Pastor, just to reiterate, because that's a strong point, brother. Because the Watch Night being that a yearly event, you have people agonizing that I might lose my wife, my child every year because this plantation had debts to settle with somebody else. A yearly event after going through all the years of slavery, hard labor to you drop dead, 1 day of rest. You're forced to breed, and then you're gonna have that ripped from you.
And family, even when you think about the sugar plantations, like Domino Sugar is an extension of the sugar plantations, one of the sugar plantations. They treated our ancestors like parts because those machines would literally rip limbs off. So what they would do, if someone is working that machine and their arm could get mangled, get ripped off, they would literally push them aside, let them bleed to death. But while they're bleeding to death, they grab another slave and put them right in that same position. This is why, especially when you look at photos or you write out, I mean, not writing, you research the writings on these slave plantations. It was common to see many of the slaves missing an arm, missing limbs, missing a hand. Will Smith did a movie called what was it? Emancipation. He did a movie on emancipation. His wife, right, purposely put her hand into a machine. Now that was a cotton machine, I believe, but it was really, but nevertheless, she got mingled. Her hand got mingled, right, and it ripped her hand off. Family, that's how bad it was. It was even worse. And that's why for me, and I've said this, I don't care what anyone try to tell me, I'm going to remember our ancestors' Watch Night. You can say what you will. You can say that you don't even want to connect with me anymore. That's fine, but it's not going to change. Family, this year, and I'll turn it over to you, Berean. This year, our theme should be, right? Our theme should be, and I just put it on where my phone at. Attention follows courage.
Mm.
Let me say that again. Attention follows courage. Those who have the courage to tell the truth, those who have the courage to take the stand, attention is going to be drawn to them.
Exactly.
And I believe that's why We Woke Now grew to the way it did, is because and Berean Scholars Channel is growing, is because people know and recognize those who have the courage to tell the truth. We're telling the truth not for attention. We're telling the truth because it's right. And the attention comes from the people seeking to hear truth. And when you hear it, it's like, wait a minute. Even though I may not agree with everything, but wait a minute. Let me start looking at let me vet the information. Whoa. Oh, now I get it. You know what? At least, even if I may not agree with them, even if I want to still be disagreeable, but you know what? I understand based upon what the sources that was presented. At least he presents sources. At least We Woke Now present sources. Berean Scholar present sources. You had the floor. Yeah, I got your screen up, Berean Scholar.
And and just while you're going through that, because he did this live because we were discussing, because he was doing research and I was doing some research on another clip. But to find out that they are intentionally, especially this year, more than anything, because who we have in this administration, going through and changing stuff. You heard what they did about the people in military, all the black military people have been wiped out off the websites. You heard what they're trying to do to the African American Museum. You hear all this stuff. That's stuff on the surface, but they're going deeper too. The other people who are with them, who are in partners, lockstep with them, are going in and taking stuff that we're using to show our people who we are. They're taking our identity. It's identity theft. It's identity theft. So they'll make sure you can't put these pieces together. When these resources are given to you, you can't go there and download them for yourself so you can share them out. That's why we tell you that, do screenshot, do all you can, and keep something.
And to your point, family, and I'll turn it back over to you.
Go ahead.
This is why I make screenshots. Even the screenshots that I took years ago, it helped because now I get a timestamp. Now I can say this is how it looked. Because when I shared with you guys the Valentine's Day, for example, you got a visual of how it originally looked. So
Right.
so no one can say I'm manipulating anything. And then when we went to the Wayback Machine, it confirmed it. So those screenshots, don't just write down sources. When you come across some key sources, key information, take screenshots if you don't have copies, original copies. If you have to rely on social media, these websites, there's a lot of information that I wish I would have took a screenshot of when I first started really studying the ancient Hebrew free from the Israeli language. They've changed sites that had that had information on it, and also, I mean, changing from ancient to what you see today. I mean, and removed sites that's not even found in the Wayback Machine because of some of the ones I came across were so old at that time. But anyway, you have the floor, Berean Scholar.
And I want you to, when I go through this, Pastor, feel free if I got anything on these numbers wrong, because they didn't give us the true numbers on this. They gave low guesstimations and estimation. But guys, when they come to us, some people will put a Holocaust or genocide in front of everything so they can claim that people are being unfair against them, and they'll throw out that word, and we're not going to stop by that word, but what I'm talking, anti this, anti that. But a true genocide of a people that started way back from the Arab slave trade that went from the 17th century, the 7th century into the early 20th century.
Now, actually, clarity, it was over 40 million.
See?
It was over 40 million. 40
million. Now, I put down what they say, but I guess because they said it down was got the numbers they said, but it was I knew the number was higher. 40 million. Keep track of the numbers as we go. Spanish Inquisition. This is what they say.
And that was easily 7 to 8 million people, easily. Family, we're dealing with this. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, keep on. I wanted you to do this. 7 to 8 million. I want the numbers to hit home. Keep saying
at least 7, 8 million. We could go higher than that, but I'm being low with it.
And look, because we went from.
Go ahead.
Yeah, we went from the 7th century. We're now in 1600s. Keep going.
So we're talking millions of our ancestors, right? That was affected there, that was scattered through the continent of Africa to Portuguese territories and all. Now, of course, they go, when history is written by the victor, right? Certain things they minimize because of not wanting to look like they were this oppressive figure. So it was the numbers were far higher than 150,000.
Okay, and I'm saying this. You see, this is the story they tell. That's why I say I want you to give some true numbers.
Transatlantic slave trade or World War, over 100 million
Million.
people was affected. They always try to keep the numbers down. They'll try to tell you 20 million. They don't take it, that's all them shrinking the numbers, right? They don't want to take into account to the slaves that died just in the first leg. There was it's documented that it's almost 20 million that was murdered just getting to the slave ships.
So many people, and in fact, I was listening to some research I was doing yesterday. It was estimated of the number of people taken on each slave ship, anywhere from 20 to 30% were either killed, died, and thrown overboard. So if you got a boat of 200 people, 20 or 30% of those people will be thrown overboard between leaving the dock from Africa and getting to wherever they was going. So many people were thrown overboard that they changed the migration of the sharks and the flesh-eating
birds as
fish
well.
and bird. The migration, they used to be down toward the African coast and everything. That's why we have so much sharks around the west, the eastern part of America, because of that slave trade. And South America and in that area in the Bahamas.
Absolutely.
So we're up to how many millions now?
So we up to easily 100 and we could say easily 160 million.
Oh, almost. Okay. King Leopold doing the same 1800s. We know he did 20 million people. They saved 12 to 15, 20 million people.
We had 180.
Cecil John Rose in South America. This is the start of what's been that ended up being the apartheid or stuff. He went down and said, "Oh, it's diamonds and other resources down there, and gold," and went to start the blood diamond stuff out down that area. Back in 1800, he stuck his claim down there. Now, during that time, child labor and people like that from labor, over they say 40,000. I bet the numbers are way higher than that. Way higher than that. But that's what they have documented. And Jim Crow, documentation, lynching. Go ahead,
the reason why this number is so tiny, see, when we understand what lynching is not just hanging someone. Lynching is the whole process.
Oh, yeah.
So lynching did not start once we got to the shores of this country. Lynching took place even when they were invading villages in Africa. Lynching was taking place when they were, capturing them, and all of that was part of the lynching process. Lynching is the process. Now, oftentimes, lynching, the height of the lynching was the hanging or how they would murder the victim. Part of the lynching process was the humiliation. They were raped and sodomized. Part of the lynching process was cutting up the victim and using them as souvenirs. Part of the lynching process was them eating our ancestors. Part of the lynching process was satanic rituals, like eating the heart, eating the liver. This is a fact, family. In many tunnels that's underground in Savannah, Georgia, in Charleston, South Carolina. So the lynching process, far more of our ancestors were lynched than 50,000. And during that lynching period, and Berin Scholar can elaborate on it even more, it was so bad that our people were terrified when it came Thursday and Friday and Saturday night. They were terrified. It was just like how like the scripture talks about. Our lives being, that uncertainty of what's going to happen to us from one day to the next day. So when you look at the lynching, the lynchings, the Jim Crow era, let's throw up in there the 3 dozen, at least 3 dozen communities of ours that was completely decimated, which includes the culmination of that was Black Wall Street.
And that's just one that we know about. There's lots more.
Well, and see, Black Wall Street, that's the end of it. That was like, that's the tail end of it. But when you start looking at Elaine, matter of fact, Detroit, Chicago, Delaware, that I'm mentioning up north because when we think of lynchings, many people don't think about up north. Only one group of people literally fits the curses, or should I say the consequences.
And that's the point. Go ahead and say it. You're hitting it. Go ahead.
Show me any other group, including the 1948ers, because we proved that they were part of the problem for our community. Still is. So no other community. When we start lining up the atrocities, and Berean Scholar just highlighted on some of it, he didn't include into the Indian trade that was part of the Arabic slave trade. That's how many of our ancestors ended up in India, ended up in Asia, as far as China, Japan. When you start tying in the Philippines, when you start tying into the original Hawaiians, the queen, the sister queen that was over Hawaii. These are the history that they don't want us to know.
And that's why they're messing with the Wayback Machine. That's why they're messing with things like that online, And see, like you said, that's just a little bit. I'm not gonna say much. I'm just gonna show you how many pages on this one. You can show this, and when that's it, I'm finished.
All right, let's see here. Excuse me.
Did it come up?
Yeah.
Okay. I did this back before the awakening, because this happened during the George Floyd thing. I started this circulated on. I started adding more stuff. This is the first page. 1811. These are riots and assaults on our people and other minority, mostly our people. And if you click on the link, it goes to either his riots and assaults, people dying, people getting murdered, massacred, all because of race wars and stuff like that. This one close to home here, Vicksburg, Mississippi. And this is just two. I did have the page though. You see how many pages this is. This is around 7 pages of list of people killed. This one, a small event, only 7 people killed, and
it's even more than that, I could tell you.
But think about it.
Yeah,
numbers and numbers. We haven't got to what things that people do highlight it.
Yeah.
After the birth of America was going, the numbers went up. That's when the Red Summer, all over the United States, riots broke out. No, and majority.
And let me make sure. Oh, I was going to say this. Let me make sure you guys understand. Where it says riots broke out, it wasn't us.
We didn't do anything. You're right.
It was them. And see, they try to label it as a race riot to make it as if like it was the whites against the blacks. Hey, the blacks was going in, they were rising up. No, it wasn't that. It was the white community coming at our community, many of the soldiers that were coming back, and how our community was prospering. They didn't like that. Many of them didn't like that. And because of that, they stirred up what they would call a race riot, which is a terrible title or label to place on these situations, these incidents, but that's what basically in a nutshell, what would be the triggers that they would use. Whether it's, hey, this black kid looked at the white woman, or the black man made this white woman feel uncomfortable, or whatever the case may be. That's what they use as their trigger to launch these heinous attacks on our community.
And everyone you see highlighted, I was able to find either a YouTube video or an article on all those things that you can click on the link, they're hyperlinked. But look, look, I open up the page on the left side so you can see how many pages of these instances I have recorded. And we're only in 1940. Now I'm gonna speed this through. This is people. This is our people, and we have not been through a Holocaust. Are still in one. We have not been through what was the in eschatology, Pastor?
What's that again? I'm sorry.
Those who like to study end times.
Or eschatology.
Yeah. Look at the Great Tribulation. This not tribulation.
We don't hear that. Yeah. This is, and to bring Scholar's point, this is what frustrates me so much, right? Because when we hear, even starting with our own brothers and sisters teaching prophecy, they don't want to talk about our atrocities. They always use the Europeans. You guys seen it firsthand with me teaching that the transatlantic slave war, the Arabic slave trade, the Indian slave, all the things that, for example, Berean Scholar is covering that's in this span, this block of this window of time as a great tribulation. No. Pastor Kelly is wrong. He don't know what he's talking about. He rewriting scripture. Christ did say after the great tribulation and described another affliction. So when does this when do it end? And who is it based on? It's based on the true people, not the 1948ers, not the Roman Catholic, Christian, Baptist, Methodist, apostolic churches, none of that. Not Islam, none of that. It's based off of the true people of the Most High. And we have the proof. And Berean Scholar he has a list as he presented right here. How many pages so far? It looks like you're in double digits. Look like you about down to 10 or 11. And
the thing about it, I went all the way up to George Floyd. I mean, guys, this is our people being horrifically and wiped out, and nobody is held accountable. Most of the times on those riots, those attacks, you heard about like Wilmington, all this stuff. We named about, we can name 25 or 7, but that was 7 pages. And I should.
This is not even mentioning the actual documented lynchings that occurred. Like 15,000 gathering in Omaha, 30,000 gathering down in Texas, tens of thousands gathering in Georgia. You know what I mean? It's not listing. For example, I like to mention him a number of times. On what's his name? They got that made mention that got eaten to death. Now I can't think of his name. I would say his name all the time, but you know, you get the gist of it. But this is not even mentioning any of that family, any of those incidents. And so what he has here is over 10 pages. Is that correct, Berean Scholar?
10 pages. Yep.
10 pages can easily get up in the 50s, 60s, 70s, maybe even more than that, hundreds. Similar to Christ, he did so much, so many of it could not be documented of the things that he had done positively. So think about what Berean Scholar just put here. Now, I didn't put together a document like this, but this is a great document to have, so that way you can actually see the impact of, wow, we are, I mean, hands down, no one can tell us we're not the people of the book. We don't have to manufacture atrocities like we see happening right now. Manufacturing atrocities, manufacturing situations to try to say that religiously they're the most oppressed people. We don't have to do that. We have the actual information, and Berean Scholar, really appreciate you presenting this here. And, you know, I would say definitely You got to add to it, but save this. Make sure it does not mysteriously disappear. You know what I mean?
Well, I
Make
dropped the
sure.
link. I dropped the link in the chat so everybody have copies of it.
Oh, okay. Oh man, family, let's give it up to Berean Scholar because he didn't have to share this. And truth be told, many people are not sharing this type of information. They're making it so that way you have to pay.
No, this is our people.
And I've been asked, I've been told, like, how come you haven't sold this? And how come you haven't sold that? That information you've been giving out, man, you can make a lot of money off of. Thank you, Berean Scholar, for sharing this. And family, what he shared with you can no dollar amount express the gratitude. Berean Scholar, drop a cash app, your cash app inside the chat. Family, let's bless Berean Scholar for sharing that hard work, sharing that. Let's just bless him. Put your cash app inside the chat, and family, bless him. Bless him with what he just shared.
When you talk about Pastor, the mother sitting on the floor looking at her kids and agonizing about December 31st, no other race on the planet Earth went through that.
None.
No other people fit these descriptions. And they don't want us to put these things together.
And family, I'm telling you, man, this stuff that makes you tear up, man.
Yeah.
Make you tear up, man. It's like you can understand what Jeremiah said to Yahweh. He said when the Father declared judgment, told him the judgments that was going to come, the captivities that was going to happen, that was going to occur. Jeremiah was like, man, is this what we designed for, to be slaves? To be captive to other nations? And I'm sure all of us share that same thought, like, man, when is it going to end? When is it going to stop? Have you guys thought about that? Have you guys actually thought about that? Like, man, when is it going to ever end for our people? No matter where we are, it's like we're being exploited. But you know what? We do have an answer. And it's coming, family. It's coming. The writing is on the wall. And I just pray, as Berean Scholar pointed out, that this pricks you for you to go even further with your studies, for you to go further and share the videos, go subscribe to his channel. Even if you don't have anything to contribute in terms of resources, as far as what he just shared, subscribe to his channel. Go to his channel and just subscribe to it, because this helps get us into other spaces within the so-called algorithms, because they are purposely designed to try to suppress these type of videos. Notice the videos that really gets a lot of traction. Confusion, lies, hate, gossip,
sex, all that stuff.
They can say the N-word, but we can't say it in the educational form. So again, family, we really appreciate you guys. And this year, we're going to continue as we just turned over to 2026. And family, for those that are watching, we understand the Hebrew calendar. Okay. I just want to make sure you understand. And I'm sure when you ask wherever you work at, when you take time off, you're not basing it off the Hebrew calendar to your employers. You're basing it off the Gregorian calendar. I'm sure when you honor and celebrate your anniversaries, as far as wedding anniversaries, your children, you're basing it off of what? So we understand that this is the Gregorian calendar versus the ancient Hebrew calendar. But let's not get caught up into the semantics. We know when the true ancient Hebrew calendar begins, the true ancient Hebrew New Year's begin. We understand that. and our ancestors as historical proof that we adjusted to the calendars that was before us in these different places that we was captive to, whether it's the Babylonians, whether it's the Medo-Persians, whether it's the Greeks. It's documented. I could go Josephus. But anyway, thank you guys for the love and support. If not tonight, we'll definitely be live tomorrow. But really want to do this untimely, unscheduled live because Beran and I we were talking earlier, and he had, he had just called me back right after I just discovered what we just shared with you guys today. Am I right, Beran?
Yep.
I had just discovered it.
And said, look at what they're doing now. Look what they're doing now. And I said, you know what? We need to tell the people. We need to tell the people. Because, why is there, guys? We got to have this information so we can wake up our people.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Any final words you want to share, Beran Scholar, as we wrap up?
I'm just glad that our people are hearing and listening, and they are all they're following instruction. They're being allowing themselves to be educated so they can go along and spread this news, like you said. It's up to us to be a part of that. We're the light, and what good is a light if you're not shining? We're not, you're no good under the bowl. We got to be on the hill shining, and like you said, we're just gonna keep pushing the truth.
Absolutely. And let me give some shout outs. I didn't even realize we had some super chats here. Let me give some shout outs here. Really appreciate the love and support. Larry, super sticker. Thank you for the love and support. Let's see here. Na'ama, Ya Israel. Thank you for the super sticker. Really appreciate it. Let's see here. Vincent. Vincent Ali, keep spreading our truth. Thank you, brothers. Really appreciate it, Brother Vincent. Thank you for the love and support. Twila, thank you for the love and support. Thank you for the super sticker. Let's see here. Live, laugh, love, loveness. Thank you for the love and support. Thank you for the super sticker here as well. Again, thank you, Vincent, again for the multiple super stickers. Thank you again. I'm now a subscriber. Thanks for the knowledge. Thank you, Brother Vincent. Really appreciate it. And this makes what we do that much easier because of the resources that what we don't talk about is the monies we spend to really do what we do out of pocket. Like Beran Scholar, all that list that he put together, it took a lot of resources to gather that information. But thank you, Vincent, Brother Vincent, for the love and support. And lastly, Ema Horton, thank you for the love and support. Thank you for the super sticker as well. And family, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. And even after we conclude this live here, go to the comment section. Just post a comment there. Yes. So that way, that helps with what they call YouTube call reachability. That helps the reachability. The more comments that they see, the likes that they see, the participation in the chats, that helps our videos with the recommendations and things like that. So no matter how hard they may try to ban what we're doing, guess what? The algorithms, we can manipulate the algorithms by doing what I just mentioned. So hit the like, subscribe to the channel. If you believe that you are subscribed, and go back over and double check to make sure that you are still subscribed, because YouTube, they do remove subscribers. And since we had this channel, they've removed over 25,000 subscribers, literally. All right. So wow. Don't forget to go to Beran Scholar channel, subscribe to his channel, and let me get this super chat that just popped in. Measure Man, thank you for gems. Stay tuned. We have been able to connect that organization to the Church of Satan. They are panicking. Absolutely. Thank you for the love and support. Really appreciate it. And family, show some love for everyone that contributed today, and actually show some love for yourselves for just watching the video. That's still participating as well. Thank you for those that hit that like button. but we still got a lot of work to do. And all right, another super chat. Let me get this real quick. Simo, thank you both for the knowledge you both that you bring forth. Really appreciate it. Thank you again. Hallelujah. And go ahead, Berean Scholar.
And I want to give thanks to those who did. A lot of people are hitting and downloading, and several people had done the cash up. Thank you for your support for Selena and Emo and Georgetta and Victor and Valerie. Thank you for all you do to be a part of what we do. Thank you for helping us spread the news of Yah, because it's all we do is to spread this news, and you're part of that. So I thank you, and thank you for the super chats also.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah. With that being said, family, as we always close out, we like to close out by me quoting Exodus chapter 14, verse 13 and 14. And it tells us this is where Israel was at what seemed to be a dead end. And the Egyptians were gaining on them to take them back into bring them back into captivity and slaughter many of them. Moses was given these encouraging words by the Most High from Yahweh, which means he exists. Fear ye not, stand still, see the salvation of Yahweh. These Egyptians that you see here today will not have power over you ever again. The Most High will fight for you. But here's the kicker. We have to hold our peace. The Hebrew word inside that text is charash, which means be quiet. Can't go back, can't stay here, keep moving forward. Shalom.
Listen, Genesis chapter 11, verse 10 explains the genealogy of Shem. Shem was a black man in Africa. If you repeat this back, Genesis 14, verse 13, Abraham steps on the scene. Being a descendant of Shem, which is a fact, means Abraham too was black. Abraham, born in the city of a black man, called Nimrod, grandson of Ham. Ham had 4 sons. One was named Canaan. Here, let me do some explaining. Abraham, Isaac was Jacob had 12 sons. For real, and these were the children of Israel, according to Genesis chapter 10. These were the children of Israel, according to Genesis chapter 10.